We're now joined via video link by Nonhle Mbuthuma, the spokesperson for Amadiba Crisis Committee, who have been actively fighting against Shell's plans for offshore oil and gas exploration on the Wild Coast region. Nonhle, good to have you on the program this afternoon. So this has been a long fight for communities along the Wild Coast. What was your reaction when you heard the Constitutional Court having ruled in your favor?
Thank you so much. My reaction today, it's written in my face. We were very happy. It's been quite a long time that we are on this struggle with Shell, since 2021, where we told Shell that our ocean is very important. It's one of our sacred places. It's one of our livelihood. But all that, it was not meaning anything. But the ruling today, it tells us that, yes, we can trust our judiciary system in South Africa, because we can say that in order for things for us to be better, we need to go to court, because our government, that their role is to also use the policies to protect us, but they are not doing that kind of work.
Nonhle, for you and the communities you represent, what exactly was at stake in this legal battle against Shell's exploration plans? What was at stake?
The stake is that as all of us, we are facing with the climate change, which is the globally catastrophe, is that we want also these corporations also to consider that the climate change is real and it's affecting all of us. Now, it's not just about making profit. Now, if they do respect that, also wish the Constitutional Court also emphasize that they must consider that, because also South Africa promised all other countries that they will reduce the carbon emission. Also, we want these corporations to do the same. That was a stake, and also as communities to be consulted, and not just a consultation, but a respectful and give a dignity humanity.
Nonhle, the Apex Court has emphasized that public participation must be meaningful in this process. Do you believe that communities were genuinely heard when these exploration rights were granted or even renewed?
Communities were never been heard. We cry for quite a long time. And it was a pity when we cry louder, we were also being criticized by our own Department of Minerals and Energy, that we don't want to see the country to be developed. But we were not just talking about, all of us, we want our country to be developed, but it cannot be developed in our cost that our ecological crisis will be burden in our bodies, will be burden in our lives. We need to determine our future. It's not all the time that these corporations must decide how our future should look like. That is what the Constitutional Court says today, that consultation or public participation must be meaningful.
Yeah, but what does meaningful consultation actually look like from the perspective of a community living directly alongside the ocean, but also depending on it for its livelihood?
The participation meaningful in our communities, it's about communities decide what is good for them and what they think it will make a better future for themselves. Like, for example, we want to see our Wild Coast continue with the tourism. We want to see our Wild Coast to continue with the tourism. That's what we want to see in our Wild Coast, because those are long terms and those are not affecting our ecological crisis. That's what we want to see as communities.
But communities have raised concerns about fishing, marine life, and traditional ways of life, Nonhle. What could Shell's proposed seismic exploration then have meant for people living along the Wild Coast?
As people that were living on the Wild Coast, we used to fish as indigenous way of doing fishing, and we are very doing good. If we were just like these other big boats that are coming with big nets and netting everything, that are given licensing, this ocean today, it will be empty without fish. Now, the seismic service, seismic survey that they were going to do it in our ocean, it was going to be blasted, it was going to destroy, it was going to kill those fishes that is part of our livelihood that we depend on or as people that we are living on the coast.
As you continue reflecting, Nonhle, does this judgment give communities greater confidence that they can challenge major development projects when they believe their rights have been or have not been respected in this regard?
Of course, the Constitutional Court today, it gives us a hope as South Africans that we still have a hope that as communities, we must stand up and fight against these big companies that they think they're going to violate the human rights of indigenous communities, and they're not going to consult, that they can stand for themselves. And it sets a precedent to not just only the coastal communities, but globally as a whole, this judgment of today.
A significant victory for Wild Coast communities after years of legal challenges, with the Constitutional Court now making it clear that consultation with affected communities must be meaningful, particularly when major development decisions could affect their rights and livelihoods. Nonhle Mbuthuma is the spokesperson for the Amadiba Crisis Committee. A big thank you for joining us this afternoon and giving us the group's perspective.